here we are onto this thing where people take this as, I hate Xtreme defenders. I don't hate them, and they look promising. The problem I have is that the claims seem to be piling up while there's not even basic amounts of confirmed data on those. Which police departments use them? How did they perform when they were used to stop a threat? What incidences were they used to show that they're as effective as jacketed hollow points? I've tried to look that up. I find this much data on it. It would be irresponsible of me to be like, these have inward pressure, they're cremated as much damage as a hollow point, they will stop your threat as good as a jacketed hollow point because Underwood says so, or Lehigh says so. I can't in good conscience do that. Now there is something, and this is controversial as well, called hydrostatic shock. There's other names for that. There's other names of like hydraulic pressure, this and that. And the basic idea is if a round of ammunition moves at like over 2,200 feet per second, that temporary stretch cavity will actually become kind of permanent in a way, because like anytime a handgun bullet or a rifle bullet hits something, it's going to stretch, it's going to cause a little cavity, but a lot of times that'll just seal back up and it won't be a ton of damage to the surrounding tissue, and it gets bigger and bigger. And the claim is at 2,200 feet per second, it's so big that the stretching can't stretch anymore, and it's ripping from there. So even if this were a real thing, hydrostatic shock, these rounds are nowhere near that velocity to do that. So if they're nowhere near that velocity to do that, I have to take it as that, what we're seeing is temporary damage. And, what you see in gel is not the exact same thing you see in real tissue. Gel is very good for judging how big a hollow point expands, and it's very good for telling how deep the penetration goes, but it's very unreliable to look at it and be like, this looks like it did more damage than that. I mean, I do that at times because, hey, it's there, but it doesn't translate over the flesh exactly the same. So you can't be like, well, that did as much in gel as a hollow point, therefore it's as good. I have to take things by measurements and face value, and when I'm looking at a 9mm that's an Xtreme Defender that's 0.355 diameter when I recover it versus an HST that's like 0.68, I kind of have to say the hollow point for sure could have done a lot of cutting damage and cut a lot of tissue and cut a lot of vital things. I can't necessarily look at the Xtreme Defender in good conscience and say that's for sure going to do that. I have to look at the diameters and all of that. So all I can say is at this point, I can't say that they're as good as jacketed hollow points. What I can say is that they are very consistent, and they tend to penetrate very deeply without over penetrating, and a lot of times they will tumble, and these are all not bad things. So you can take it for what you will. I would say overall these rounds are okay.